We are back. KTCR, Kill the Cat Radio, Sharp Teeth. Episode 6. We're moving on. We're coming up. I'm telling you. We got our clipboard here as usual. We've got our little background all squared up there. We got our little promoted book over here. Everybody Behaves Badly. I think we talked about that before. How's everybody's week going? Happy Monday. Always remember, Kill the Cat Radio will come out every Monday and Friday. Sharp Teeth will premiere every Monday and Friday. A little cold, supposed to be a big storm here in New York City, but we're all bracing through it and we are ready to go. Thanks for subscribing. It's really easy to subscribe, especially if you have a Gmail account. It's connected to YouTube. Just go ahead and press the button right below here. Press subscribe. It takes 1 second to do that. There's no spam. We don't want any of your money. We don't want anything from you except your ears, and you can play this when you're doing the dishes or cleaning up the kitchen, making your bed, cleaning your house. That's how I listen to podcasts. I just do stuff around the house and just play it and just let whoever I'm listening to ramble on about whatever they're talking about. Thank you all for subscribing. If you leave any comments, please go ahead and leave them below. And also don't forget to hit the like button. We got 3 topics as usual each week. The first one has to do with Valentine's Day. Now, I know I'm a little late to the game on this one. I wrote about it in the Bartender Knows, which is a bartender column I write each Saturday. So I'll put a link below so you guys can read that. Yes, I'd like to talk about what happened to me on my Valentine's Day. Well, yes, that's true, ladies. I am single. I'm over here with my camera. My only date I have is this little ET camera here. It's pretty nice. And I also have all of you out there in the world. It's fantastic. But I decided to go out on Valentine's Day around 5 p.m. to one of my local bars and have myself a drink. I brought some ideas about what I wanted to do with this program here with Sharp Teeth and a couple future projects I'm working on. And when I'm sitting there, I walk in and it's a pretty cool bar. It's a great little dive bar. No one's there. There's a really nice bartender lady who's working. Natasha, how you doing? Natasha, how are you? Thanks for all the drinks. I appreciate it. However, I did have to tell Natasha the next week what actually happened to me. I roll up to the bar. Imagine it. There's no one else in the bar. All the seats are empty. Maybe there's someone in the back playing pool, and there's not a lot of noise. Great music is playing. It's a good vibe. The way I like bars. Empty. Just me, a notepad and paper, and just a couple bar stools. Perfect. I'm not even there. 15 minutes in, I order my drink, which is usually basically a vodka neat. It helps me lose weight. It helps me kind of, I quit beer and all of that stuff. So just a vodka neat, simple stuff. No rocks, maybe a couple ice cubes. And I'm sitting down, writing and working on my project. Before I know it, a man, or I should say a young man, sits right next to me. Remember I told you, all the bar seats were completely empty. Okay. Music's going. Bartender's doing her thing. All the other seats are empty. I'm just writing down some ideas and notes about the show. Boom. Right next to me. Guy rolls up. Now that's okay. Maybe he's lonely. I don't care. I mean, it's New York City. I don't give a shit who comes around here and wants to hang out and talk about things. So I say, all right, hey, how you doing, buddy? And he's like, hi. And I noticed 2 things immediately. One, he's reading a dictionary. Like a small little pocket dictionary. That's weird, right? But hey, I'm a man of words. I like that sort of thing. Also, the second thing, the more important little piece of information I should have Sherlock Holmes my way through, you didn't have a drink. Now, it's perfectly okay if you don't have a drink and you want to go to a bar. Maybe you're a recovering drunk. Maybe you're a drug addict. Maybe you're in a 12-step program. Maybe you just don't feel like drinking that day. But usually, if you're going to be at a bar at 5 p.m. on Valentine's Day, you either have a soda water or a juice or maybe a Coca-Cola or a ginger ale or what have you. You have something in your hand, like a pint glass or something, just so you can fit in. How else can I describe this dude? Probably like 27 years old, weird sweater. I should have noticed that too, like a Cosby sweater. Anyways, so he just sits down and I said, oh, you got a dictionary. That's pretty cool. That's not a bad thing to have. You're learning your words. And he's like, yeah, it's you never see a dictionary like this. It's like a Latin, an English, and Hebrew dictionary. And I'm like, oh, cool. Right on. That's great. Is this normally something you carry around at the bar? I didn't ask that question, but that is a good question to ask. Is that something you normally carry around at a bar? It's a good question. The bartender comes over again, gives me a look, just kind of like a little one of these, just kind of like a warning look, like a warning shot. She goes over and asks him again, "Hey, would you like a drink?" And he said, kind of mealy mouth, like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm just over here. Just, I'm just not drinking yet. I'm just over here, just not drinking yet." I'll kind of mush mouth, I don't know what this whole style, younger people. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll get a drink, maybe. Well, the point is, the dude had a weird dictionary and he didn't have a drink. So, and he's sitting right next to me in an empty bar. So, you guys start doing the math right now. I, like an idiot 45-year-old, I go out with the bartender. She's outside. I just go talk to her, just find out how she's doing. It's kind of a pretty day. I'm looking at the sun. We're right on the main drag here in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. And I bring up to her, I said, "Is that guy weird?" And she's like, "Yeah, something's just not, this guy's not right. Something's really odd about this gentleman." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, that's interesting. All right. Well, maybe he's just lonely or whatever. It's Valentine's Day. Holidays bring out the weirdness in people." And she's like, "Nah, I don't know. Something's off." Anyways, we go back inside. Guy's still sitting there right next to my writing materials. And he starts asking me these weird questions like, "You live around here?" Like, I say, "Yeah, around the corner." He's like, "Yeah, that's pretty close. You lived around here a long time?" I'm like, yeah, been around here a long time. I just felt that vibe, but I was like, screw it. I took my drink back, ordered another one. I also, had to go to use the restroom. So I left, went over to use the restroom, came back. Guy was totally gone. Maybe he was outside smoking. Maybe he was doing whatever. Again, the lady comes back. She's like, "Do you see what happened with the other guy?" I said, "I have no idea what happened there. Who knows who this guy is." I drink the drink. Everything's fine. Now, I have maybe, one more of these here, and I'm going to go to another bar and just hang out and just chill out, hang out with some other people. So I pay up my drink. She's always been good to me, so she charged me very limited. I don't drink very expensive stuff. Next thing I know, I get to the next bar. By the time I roll in there, it's about 7 p.m. Like this, just like, I'm mealy-mouthed now. I'm mealy-mouthed. I'm mushing my words. Now, a lot of these people at this other bar know me as well, and they know I can handle my booze. I've had a lot of experience. I'm an ex-bartender. We'll get into that in point 2. But the bartender who works there, I trust, and he looked at me dead in the eye, and he said, "Man, are you okay? Is everything okay with you?" And I'm like, "No, it's fine. Everything's good." And he's like, "Are you high? Like, are you taking drugs? Like, what's going on here? You're never like this." Another guy came up that I haven't seen in a while, so I sit next to him, and we're talking all kinds of cool stuff, just about art and interesting things. And I'm leaning into him like this, and my head's going down, and he kind of grabs me. He's like, "Matt, are you okay?" And I look over at the bartender, and I'm like, "Yeah, everything's fine. I think everything's gonna be okay." And I realized something is very, 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 very wrong. I thought maybe, did I not eat anything? Did I smoke something I wasn't supposed to smoke? I don't remember smoking. My legs started to give out, and that's a scary feeling. I only had one drink there, and they know me, so I kind of like got up out of my chair, and I'm like, I gotta take a phone call. I told my friend who I was basically nodding out on. The moment I got out of the bar, I just felt like I was gonna fall down. I had no powers in my legs. I was completely just, what is going on here? And then the evil began. I come home. I have no legs. I fall to the ground right in my kitchen. And sorry, folks, you know what's coming. Exorcist style, the vomit comes out of my mouth. All clear liquid, just absolutely pouring. I had to back myself up like just to not get it on my clothes because I was wearing like a suit, coat, and everything. So I just backed up, just tried to get out of there. It was disgusting. I couldn't even lift myself up. I couldn't even man up to even get to the bathroom. And the way it came out was just, it was disgusting. And I'm sorry. This is, a terrible, terrible video for you guys. Anyways, I woke up on my floor, completely just out of it, just like 3 hours later. And I just felt dizzy and strange. And I kind of felt a little better. I got myself together, and I, obviously had to break out the mop and do the thing. And I have wood floors, thank God. I cleaned everything up and everything was fine. And I just started doing a little research. I'm like, wait a minute, how could this doesn't make any sense? And then it hit me. It's where your guys' minds are going right now. I left an open glass of clear liquid twice at the bar next to this weird guy who was reading a Latin, Hebrew, English dictionary in a Cosby sweater Left him alone twice with my drinks, once outside with the bartender, the other time going to the bathroom. So I got to say, ladies, you guys know better than to leave your drink with a strange man at a bar. Guys should know this stuff. I took it for granted. I thought there's no way in heck anybody's going to try to drug me. I'm too old to be drugged. Why would anyone want to drug me? And then I look up a certain kind of drug. It's called GHB. Now, normally it's kind of a club drug. It makes you feel mildly euphoric, but if you have too much or you mix it with booze, then you start feeling a little loose and obviously become the projectile vomiting water like a demon across your kitchen floor. Happy Valentine's Day, Matthew Diabate. Happy Valentine's Day. At least someone was trying to sleep with you. Happy Valentine's Day. What an absolutely terrible Valentine's Day that was. The only thing I fell in love with that night was knowledge. Knowledge. Knowledge was my date that night. Knowledge of never leave your drink, whether you're an older man like me, younger girl, younger guy, older lady, anybody at a bar, when someone comes up to sit right next to you, that's a little creepy, a little weird, not drinking. That should have been the cause right there. I should have known better, which brings me to point 2. I told you I was a bartender for years. That's probably the job I had the most, other than writing, in my entire life. There's a beauty to bartending. There's such an awesome beauty to it. I think it's one of the greatest professions. I think someone actually said bartenders are the aristocrats of the working class. I'm not sure where I read that before. Was scared to bartend. Didn't even know how to do it. You don't need to go to bartending school. Anybody out there who wants to learn how to bartend and figure things out, you can just get hired and just sit behind the bar. And really, it's so not about drinks. It's so about this kind of connection. Staring at the person, hanging out with them, telling stories. The same thing I do right now. Someone asked me, "Oh, why do you think you can do this podcast?" I said, "Well, I just treat you guys like you're my customers. Like, oh, hey, good morning. How are you?" I don't get any tips, but hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How was your day today? How was your day today? That's all you really got to do. And most drinks people order are very simple. Vodka soda, they'll order, Jack and Coke, martini, which is, most people don't even want vermouth in their martinis. So they just basically just want a bucket of chilled vodka or gin in their glass. Dirty, that's olive juice. Not dirty, that's nothing. You're supposed to put a little bit of vermouth, and I really do like a classic gin martini. That's pretty good, but most people, they usually just go that direction. Frozen drinks, it's a crime against humanity. If you're an island in the Keys, it kind of makes sense, so I can't hate on that. And it is kind of fun, frozen margaritas and stuff like that. But all drinks only have 3 ingredients. Your main booze, which is like the big one. Then you have 2 other things that quickly follow. It's like the 7 deadly sins. You always suffer from one, quickly followed by the 2 other ones. But there's a beauty there. You get to meet people from all over the world. You get to interact with people. I've got jobs from people. I've heard stories from people. I've made new friends. I've traveled around the world doing it. It's a great profession, and it's cash money tips. I mean, who doesn't like that? Now, of course, when I was bartending as a young man, I was kind of an idiot because I should have taken all that tax-free money and put it in the mattress. I could probably have a house by now if I just saved the tips, kept my paychecks, and just kept it there. But no, you're a young guy. You just do it. I didn't mean to become a bartender. I was actually a really good waiter. I was fantastic at it. I love the speed. I love the talking, but I couldn't turn tables very fast. It was pretty funny. I just loved to hang out with people. Some people were dicks, and so fuck them. But, I just couldn't wait to just kind of meet people, and I love serving people and getting whatever they needed and, being of service in that way. But eventually I ended up working at this one place in Boston called the Border Cafe, which has since burned down. When I was working there, the boss, Bob Murphy, basically was like, I think we got to fire Matthew. And then the assistant manager said, why? He's like, because he's not turning tables fast enough. He likes to run his mouth, blah, 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 AKA future podcast. So the assistant manager came up with a great idea. He said, enough of this. Put him behind the bar. Let him run his mouth all day. Put him on a lunch shift, and he can just talk all he wants to everybody that walks in. Big guy says, well, he doesn't even know how to bartend. And then the little guy, the assistant manager, is like, I'll make him a bartender. Ooh, and make him a bartender did he. This man was one of the meanest men I ever met in my life. He was cold. He was harsh. He would yell at you. If you didn't know how to change a keg, he's barking over you. He was only like 5'5". I mean, I'm almost 6 foot, but he was, it just felt like he was a menacing presence. But that's how I became a bartender. And there's a beauty to it. And I was really happy about it. And yeah, it served me well. I bartended in New Orleans. I bartended in Boston. I bartended here in New York City, all over Brooklyn. It's been an amazing thing, but I think a lot of people think it's some kind of special place that you graduate to, but really it's not. I think because a lot of people make so much money on it, and they don't want to tell you that it's actually like the easiest gig in the world. 3 things you got to always have as a bartender. Number 1, show up on time. No call, no shows, you're dead. It's over. You're finished. 2, don't get that wasted, because if you get that wasted at the bar, you're going to leave things dirty. You're going to fuck everything up. Customers aren't going to like their experience. I mean, you could drink a little bit. I mean, I would never work at a bar that wouldn't let me drink at all. That's insane. I mean, you got to take shots with your customers. That endears you. They have more fun. You make more tips. Way cooler than just being a dry bartender. I don't know why anybody would be like working at a whorehouse and not having sex with any of the prostitutes. And 3 is don't fuck up the money, because most bartenders are thieves. Right? Someone hands you a bunch of cash just off the cuff. You'd be like, well, I'll just put that in my pocket. I've watched bartenders do this all the time. The reason why I always kept jobs and never got fired was because I always put most of my money in the register. The tips I would put in the tip jar. But if it was a slow day, I would take money even out of my own tip jar and put that in the register. So I always overrung the other bartender's till. I'd put the extra cash into the register, and then I would always outring everybody else. Now, that is some secret information. You take that to heart. So if you want to be a bartender out there, remember that. Always show up on time. Don't get too wasted, and don't fuck up the money. Take even a little extra. Don't be greedy. Put it in there. Trust me, you're going to make money doing your job. Put it in the till. Get those numbers up, and you always have your job. Which brings us quickly to part 3. There's a huge distinction between good bartenders and bad bartenders. Personally, if you don't like people, why are you a bartender? Get out of the business. I understand you want to make money, but if you don't like people, then get an IT job. Sit behind a computer, design websites, learn coding. You're by yourself all the time. You make a good living. You could buy a house in 2 years. Why in the world does anybody want to be a bartender if they hate people? I'm not saying you got to be Mr. People Person or Mrs. People Person. I'm just saying that if you don't like people, get out of hospitality. There has to be a little bit of part of you that really, really, really digs human beings, or at least likes to listen. Waiting tables, I understand. You're in, you're out. You got a food runner. Boom. There's the steak. Did I get everything right? Thank you very much. Care for any dessert? Thanks a lot. Great to have you. See you next time. In and out of there. All right. You can still make pretty good money being a waiter. Okay. You could make good money doing that. And you don't have to stay as long. Here in New York City, you're here till 5 a.m. Last call's at 3:50, right? Do the last call, hang out. Maybe let a couple of regulars stick around, clean the bottles. You got to do that. You got to do the money, put everything in the register, do all your credit card receipts, all that stuff, load it into the computer. You're there till 5 a.m. That's why a lot of bartenders, all you can end up dating is strippers and other bartenders. Basically, it really limits your. And nurses, right? You can date nurses, but usually nurses are so tired off their shift, it's not like they really want to have like a 6-pack or a bottle of whiskey with you, But primarily strippers and other bartender people. It's an interlinking relationship, if you know what I mean. But if you hate people, don't do it. The good bartenders are great because when you just feel welcome when you walk into their establishment. You should be able to say, hello, hey, how you doing? Well, can I get you? Coming in, even if you're the most busy person in the world. Another tip too, good bartenders will always take orders all the way down the bar if they're super busy. So you get this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, whatever. And then you get all the orders thing and go boom, 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 boom. Now you don't have to worry about your crowds. It's the people who go to one customer, then back, then another customer and back. Now, if you guys aren't bartenders out there, you know what I'm talking about. You're sitting there waiting like, okay, what's going on here? Like, can I get a fucking drink or what? You guys are getting off work in your own jobs. All you guys want to do is drink. So, what's the problem here? You just go boom, 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 nail it all down, and then just put all the drinks down on the bar. You're good to go. You're an awesome bartender. Now you have time to talk. You can charm. If you're a young single guy, you can meet all the women in the world you want. Trust me, it happens. I had my little slutty phase for a minute. I will admit, it was a woman a night. Every shift I had, it was a different girl. You know, I'd have dates all the time. It's the best way, especially if you're a young guy. Interesting fact, though, lots of bartender women always have boyfriends, or at least they lie about having boyfriends, but they always say they have boyfriends because, you know, you've got every Tom, Dick, and Harry trying to be friendly with you. I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that, but at least you always have that nice 3 foot of mahogany between you and the customer so you can keep them at bay. And if they get weird, you hopefully have a bouncer or something like that. But good bartenders can handle themselves. They know what's going on. I worked at places there wasn't even a bouncer. I had to bounce. Okay. I had to throw people out with my own bare hands. That's crazy. They don't even teach that. How do you learn that in bartending school? How to trash a guy out with his head through the wooden door? That's an interesting thing you learn. But I learned it all, you know, hands-on job opportunities, you know, is what we like to call it. The bad bartenders, here's a couple things about them. First sign of a bad bartender, doesn't greet you when you walk in. Terrible. Terrible, 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 terrible. Second proof your bartender is not cool. Barely even talks to you. They walk up, not a hi, how are you? Not even a smile, just what can I get you? Now, I understand if you've had a rough night and it's been like it's 3 a.m, you're tired. I get it. Everybody deserves exactly the same treatment as if it was 5 p.m. on a dinner shift or 3 a.m. on a person getting out of work shift or whatever. Bad bartenders don't smile. They're not inquisitive. They don't care that they're there. And what's even more crazy is they expect to be tipped well. Okay. My advice to you, customers, when you guys go into a bar and a bartender's just lame, $1 a drink. That's the fair way to do that. It's the American way. Do that. Other than that, I mean, give them nothing more. They deserve nothing more. If they're only in it for the money, then make sure they get as least amount of money as possible. But if you have a bartender that is going above and beyond, they get you your drink fast, they get you your drink accurately, they're nice, they inquire about what's going on with your life. You don't have to be best friends with your customers. You know, you don't have to get all philosophical. If they want if they want philosophy, give it to them. If they don't, if they want to be left alone on their phones, which most people do these days, leave them alone. But always have a smile. Always do it because number one, you will make more money doing that. And if you're a bad bartender, you know, go fuck yourself. Get a new job. All right. Go walk, go work on Wall Street or something, go rip people off for cash. If you don't like people, go make money off their grandmas on Wall Street and their stock programs and gold shares, buying silver coins or whatever the hell they do over on that street. Yeah, nothing drives me more crazy than a bad bartender. If you run across any bad bartender, my advice to you, there's another bar you have access to, go to that. Just walk in. You'll know in the first 3 minutes if you're going to have a good bar experience, if you're going to have an amateur bar experience. Good bartenders will make you feel relaxed. You're going to be fine. And by the way, just so everybody knows, okay, after 3 drinks, you get a free drink. I don't care where you work. I don't care if the boss says not to do that. Screw them. All right. You buy 3 drinks, you get a free drink after that. That's a fact. Fun thing the other day, I walked in this bar, this lady, young lady. I don't know. I could already tell something was weird. She was charming at first, but there was an arrogance to her. I don't know. She's, the arrogance of youth, 27 years old. Anyways, we get to talking. She's kind of funny. Things are okay. Everything's kind of going in a normal way. I'm starting to get a funny feeling from her because she made some comments just about, I was writing and working on things, and I made a comment about, modern publishing and what's going on here. And she's like, well, not every cisgender white male is going to be published immediately, not like the old days. And I'm like, wait, what? That's a weird thing out of like Diagonalville. That's not what you talk about at a bar. I mean, they're supposed to leave it. Some things you leave out of conversation on occasion. It came down to my bill. So I said, can I get my bill, please? I had 3 of those same well vodka shots, just neat. And we're talking well vodka. That's like the cheapest of the cheapest of the cheapest. That's gut rot. That's like probably what they're giving Ukrainian soldiers just to get by every day. It's bad stuff. All right. But you can live on it. It's pretty good. It makes you lose weight and so everything's fine. She looks at me right away. And this is a locals bar too. And she says, that'll be $44. $44. Do you know how much a bottle of well vodka costs? Like when you buy it in bulk, probably the box costs $44. That's 12 bottles, though. I mean, most of these bottles, it's less than $8 a bottle. And 3 shots, at least the one she was pouring, it would be worth $3 a piece max. I said, how much do you guys charge here at this bar? She was new, whatever. It's fine. She's like looking at the computer, trying to figure out what's going on. She comes back and she's like, well, it's $9 a shot. I'm like, okay. I mean, that's the New York tax. That's, if you want to play the game, you got to come out here to New York City and pay all this money for booze. You might as well drink at home like me, miss. And I hate doing this. I hate it. Okay. Because then you're that guy. I said, miss, well, they're $9 a shot, so that's 3 shots I had, or the 3 neats, right? And that's $27. Where did you get the $44 from? Like, what is this? $44? That's crazy. You know, I mean, this is not even a fancy. I mean, I get it if I was in Chelsea, or if I was in West Village, or if I was at, you know, if I was at Le Bernardin, right? You know, great French restaurant. I don't even think they charge that much for that. I mean, they would do that. I mean, if I was ordering Grey Goose, okay, fine. Grey Goose, that costs that. Kettle One, yes, that costs that. Tito's is probably at least 10. Okay. This is the well drab. This is the lowest of the low you can go. She obviously did not respond well to this. Just took out of her tip jar. Well, here's 10 back. And I'm like, okay, well, you know. And she kind of like rolled her eyes as if I was the one making the mistake. A good bartender, if that happened to me and I mischarged somebody, I'd be like, I am so sorry. Here's the new price, and let me get you one anyways. Because remember, after 3, she'd even give me the free one. Now, you never asked for the free one, but everybody knows. Buy 3, 1 for free. All right, now we're moving into something a little bit more crazy. Okay, because I have a video example of our next topic. It's your favorite one, creep of the week. Who's the creep of the week? Oh, it's a big question. We always want to know. I have a video I found on TikTok. I should not be on TikTok. I don't know why. I just recorded it on my phone. I just watched it and I wanted to just blow my own head off. I don't know who this lady is. I don't know what her deal is. Creep of the week this week, hose. Straight up hose. We got holes in different area codes. That's not how it goes, right? All right, just watch this. Just watch this, and then I would like to know. You could put in the comment section down below what you think about this whole thing. I think it speaks for itself, but go ahead and roll clip 1.
Our sugar daddy, who art at the bank, hallowed be his bank account after he falls in love with me. Thy Birkin come, his will I will be on. Shower me with abundance, as my love language is money. Give me the strength to withhold the Gucci until I get the Gucci. Lead all men into my temptation and deliver me to a rich husband. In your name we pray. In the name of the dollar, Louis Vuitton and his hedge fund, Amen.
Now, how does that make you feel? Let's start with the guys. Guys, how does that make you feel as a living, breathing soul in our modern life, in this interestingly capitalistic / anarcho-capitalistic world? You feel good? You happy that women are like that out there? My question is, who's this lady's father? What was her upbringing like? What happened there? Remember the last one we were talking about Freud? What would Freud say about all this? Ladies, where are we at here? Where are we at? This kind of goes back to my twerking thing. What does it all mean, ladies? Can you comment on this for me, please? Can you tell me something? I'm confused. I watched this and wanted to puke. Now look, let me tell you something. All right. There's nothing wrong with being sexually promiscuous. I myself are mildly religious. I have my own personal religious beliefs. Okay. I believe in a higher power, but I also believe in sexuality, and I want people to express themselves sexually, and I want them to be open. And I side with Freud when I say, I think more people who are less sexually repressed probably will have less neuroses, therefore will be less of a problem in society, therefore less of a problem for me. No, but seriously though, if you indulge in whatever you want to do, aside from murdering people, I have actual more respect for prostitutes on the street, because they're just like, look, this is transactional. This is what we're doing. This lady's trying to make a whole career out of it. She's like, I will marry you. I will be your whatever, your wife, as long as this financial frightening Illuminati diagram is being represented here. And again, this isn't the 1950s. It's not like women can't go out and get their own monies. That's what I mean by hose. I don't mean a woman who sleeps around with everybody. If you want to do that, you want to risk STDs. As I said, I was a bartender. I did my own mildly immoral behavior. It happens to everybody. Everybody goes through that phase or just continues that phase. No judgment. But to have this woman's mentality, and then she was actually interviewed. I don't remember her name, so it doesn't really matter, but maybe you guys can look it up or whatever and find out for yourselves. But no, she continues this whole charade through the whole, through all these different interviews on TV. So she's the real deal. She really is doing this. It's where you're what you're worth, but in such a horrible way. That's what I mean by hose. Another really frightening thing you can find on YouTube as well was there was this interesting interview. The podcaster was really cool because he had like about 5 of these women. They were all like very beautiful in their own way. And they asked them, they said, hey, what would happen if you had a situation where something went wrong? I don't know if you guys remember Patrice O'Neill, the real dirty comic. He died, unfortunately, but he had this funny joke. He said, ladies, can I ask you a question? What would you do if your pussy just fell out? What if it just fell out? Just didn't have it anymore. There's nothing really there. What would you offer a man after that? Because obviously a lot of these girls were done up and they were talking about, their worth. Same thing like the chick in the video, right? All about being a hoe or whatever. What possibly could you offer a relationship, I should say? What could you offer a relationship? What could you offer a man if it didn't have to do with, that area of your body? What would you do? What would happen? And then the podcaster guy goes to each woman and asks each woman, what could you bring to a relationship if that was off the table? He said it in a much nicer way than Patrice O'Neill did, but hey, that's what separates the great from the mediocre. All the women said, they were like, well, I could just maybe I just give him more oral sex, and maybe we'll just do some anal sex, and maybe we could do other things. I just try to find a way to like make him happy. And each one of them sort of said the same thing. And these are women under 30, right? Not one of them said, what would I have to offer without my privates? None of them said I could offer honesty, support, conversation, thoughts, communion, help with him in his area, maybe help with me express my feelings. None of the things you would think that regular, non-robotic, non-scary, possessed people would actually answer in that format. It was really scary. And I think that this video that we just watched is a great example of how twisted the American mind is, for women especially, but also for men, because if men are cool with this, then they're just suckers, in my opinion. It's like, you might as well just go hire a high-class prostitute and forget all this marriage business, like go, I don't know, go to the escort service, be like an Elliot Spitzer, whatever, like do whatever you got to do, but whatever gets you through the night. But the idea of that this is something that is incredibly popular amongst young women in this country is yet another reason why I'm moving to the mountaintop. And I'm going to build a cabin by myself, and I'm going to have a dog and 17 cats. And I'm going to write novels and try to forget that this world ever existed. Because as far as I'm concerned, this creep of the week is ruining everything. Next up, we have the talkback section. We've got a lot of cool compliments and comments that are coming out recently. We get a lot of new members, a lot of new listeners. I am pleased to inform you that we now have 37 members. Subscriptions. Now, is that a lot? No, that's not a lot in the scheme of things, but I'm more of a positive guy. I think if you can get even 1 or 5 people that you don't know subscribe to your channel and whatever you're doing in life, that's worth 500 in my opinion, because it's one thing for my mom to subscribe. Thanks, Mom. I love you. I love you. Thank you very much. Or your sister or your brother to subscribe to your stuff. But when strangers start getting interested in what you have to say, you're onto something. Going back to that one criticism we had in the talkback section a couple weeks ago, like, well, why would you say something in a sea of voices? It's like, well, this is the reason. If you keep talking with people through this medium, this beautiful YouTube medium, you know, you can get through to a lot of people. And if people enjoy it, that's great. And if they don't want to subscribe, that's great too. And if people don't want to be a part of it, that's awesome. Whatever you go about, there's a million. You're right. There is a million different voices out there. So go to those million voices. I'm so happy with you guys coming on to this program like this. It excites me. Every week we start getting new people. Another cool number we had is that ever since we started this, now we have other things on this channel. We've got some short stories. We've got some other interviews, which is called Kill the Cat Radio 2 Mics. And it's when we sat down with a lot of interesting people who I find interesting. And it's just, there's no cameras involved. It's just me and 2 microphones with these people. And it's so cool. And I got to say, this is something that I'm really proud of. We have over 1,327 hours that have been watched already. Isn't that to me is crazy to be such an independent source of any kind of information, or at least my theories about things, and interacting with you and having this sort of go between you and me. I find that to be fascinating. And I can't wait to just keep bringing you guys more information, more themes, more thematic interludes, more news. We're here to focus on news, entertainment, media, philosophy, books. Each week will be different. And again, we come out Monday and Friday every week. So go ahead and follow us on Twitter at Kill the Cat Radio. We're on Twitter there. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Please subscribe again. Be our next member. Let's get these numbers up. And I think it all multiplies, you know, it's all exponential, you know, the connections. And don't forget, please comment in the comment section, interact with me. It's very important that both of us do this. You talk to me, I talk back to you. We have some stuff. So we've got a lot of compliments. We've got 1 or 2 criticisms, but the criticisms always end up being the same. You know, like we talked about last time, haters will be haters. It's always going to be that. I dare you to get a camera and open up your own channel. See how easy it is. It's tough stuff. You got to be brave. You got to know what's going on. KTCR, Kill the Cat Radio, episode 6. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe below. Hit the like button. And I'll see you next Friday.